If you're familiar with Hades, then you already know Zagreus and how he's constantly attempting to escape the underworld. His main goal on escaping his father's iron grip to reach the surface is just the beginning until he starts to uncover the truth about his absent mother, Persephone. On the surface, Hades starts to piece together a deeper plot related to family. But what I discovered was that this game shows way more than that. I saw a web of relationships between the characters and how wounds, misunderstandings, and dishonesty can cause families to crumble. Sometimes, minor things, choices, certain behaviors, and interactions with others can deeply affect the immediate family members in a long-lasting way, even if it wasn't intended to be negative. Hades shows that rebuilding a family is painful, takes a lot of work and time, but will be worth it. See, starting from the beginning, Hades shows how parental wounds can cause generational effects if they never heal. Hades himself being cast to the underworld, the wound that he received, and Persephone's mom, Demeter, being such a helicopter parent, in a sense, that causes a wound with her. Both of them affected Zagreus' upbringing by how those wounds actually manifested themselves as he was being raised, to the point to where Persephone wasn't even around. Now, with parental wounds, Hades and Persephone both having some sort of wound that they received either from their parents or from a past issue that they just never healed, when they continue to grow, what happens is it hurts the parental bonds, and poor parental bonds erode the family and prevent healing. Just look at Persephone's abandonment of Zagreus and Hades after she gave birth, and then see how that affects Hades and his ability to not be able to let go, and him trying to keep Zagreus trapped. Now, there is some more things behind that, but we'll talk about that later. But just in how you can see it playing out at the very beginning with the limited information that you have as a player. See, something as simple as a lie or miscommunication left alone can be the cause of that family to crumble, or to crumble even more. See, if Persephone knew that Zagreus had lived, she would have returned at all costs. If Hades told Zagreus that he let Persephone go to protect her sooner, Zagreus may have found a different way or a different reason to get out sooner. So miscommunication is bad because it is the reason why that entire family had to suffer. Hades, Persephone, and Zagreus. Because if Hades, Zeus, and Persephone had just talked about that initial get-together, so to speak, with Demeter, a lot of this would have been prevented. Because one of the reasons why Hades is trying to protect Persephone is because of trying to prevent Demeter from starting some sort of Olympic war or pursuing Persephone even more, causing her suffering. But had they all just talked it through, the original Hades and Persephone getting together, this whole thing could have been prevented. There would have been no Hades the game, so to speak. But despite all that, the miscommunication, the hiding of things, the wounds that both Hades started off with and Demeter started off with, Zagreus, the main character, shows how being willing to take a stand for your family can be worth it if you're willing to pay the price like he did, over and over and over again. He put in a lot of work and a lot of effort to fix it. For Zagreus, it takes more than one Herculean task to get it done. You not only have to escape once, but multiple times to finally clear up the miscommunications and deceptions. Just like it takes multiple interactions and hard moments to start rebuilding a family in real life. You gotta get real with each other, you gotta get vulnerable, and it's not easy. I feel like Zagreus in this game does a great job at showing everyone hard work will lead to something good. Now, it ain't pretty and it ain't perfect. Now, obviously there's a Hades 2, so there's a little more going on after this, but it was worth it as he continued to go through it over and over again. Another main point that could have been overlooked, just as a simple mechanic of roguelikes, is the mechanic of those built-in run bonuses that come from building bonds with other characters. Now, the mechanic has a couple of reasons there. One is just a common roguelike mechanic to have that so your runs can get easier. It's like having the artifact, so to speak. But the other piece of that too, and lore-wise, is at the very end of the game, you have to actually have enough bonds together to finally have that come-to-truth moment with everybody. See, the strength of your relationships determines the depth and joy of your life. To kind of further show the importance of building bonds and relationships in life, Hades does a really good job painting the picture of how Achilles and Nyx almost take the role of his father and mother in a sense. In general, Achilles, you can kind of look at it as either the sage or mentor type, a little bit of the father figure for Zagreus. Nyx being more of the motherly type, to the point to where At the beginning, Zagreus even believes that she is his mother. Now, all that to say, those relationships, the strength of those bonds, can sometimes be almost more than your actual blood family members. And I love how Hades shows how sometimes you do need that outside support, that strong support system that's been built up around you to help carry you through some of the hard times as you're getting a family back together. Now, sometimes when it comes to taking the first action, it comes with reconciliation. One of the things I noticed when I played the game was you can actually give some of the ambrosia to the first boss that you'll fight. Now, it's a little awkward at the beginning when you give it to her, but you can see how that initial action starts to create that bond. You can see how Zagreus takes the first step in building those relationships. He initiates them instead of waiting for the other person. It's your job as the main character to start building those bonds. You get the ambrosia and you put out that first offering, no matter how awkward it is, that first reconciliation point. It shows how Zagreus actually has to take the lead in the family to initiate that action in a lot of different ways. It takes a lot of personal leadership to actually go forward and do the awkward thing. It takes that courage to get everything going, to get that inertia on the relationship built up and going. But the game shows that there is so much benefit in doing so. Not only in the relationships you build after you start playing, but kind of the background feeling of the relationships that were built before you started playing the game. In the background, just how certain people talk to Zagreus, like they just know him so well, like he's someone who's always there and talking to them. That's another thing you can really tell on how this story helps build up the importance of taking that first step and not just initiating relationship, but rebuilding relationships. Really, at the end of this, it kind of just comes back to the beginning, where certain things, small, big, over time, repeated, can really have long-lasting, damaging side effects on a family and its relationship. For the most part, it is worth it. Continue to fight for your family. Now, I will admit, the one caveat to all of this, though, is in order to have true reconciliation, both parties are have to be in a position to come to the table at some point. Now, in this case, Zagreus is the one who starts off by trying to clear that table so people can come to it. Sometimes real life isn't like a video game. Sometimes people don't want to come to that table, and that's okay, because the strength of those other relationships, you can grow those to be a family level tie. I know plenty of people I would consider my family myself. I know you have some people like that too. Just remember, when it all comes down to it, family's important. Try to keep it together. Maybe you can, maybe you can't. Maybe that's not for you to try to do. At least do what you can and take responsibility for your part of that relationship. Don't abdicate it. Don't let it off. Don't let someone else handle it for you. Take the lead. Be the Zagreus in your life. Because as we mentioned, for Zagreus to finally bring his mom home, he had to form bonds with enough Olympians to get their support to undo what started this whole thing, and to make it so that Demeter would accept her daughter being in the underworld. And like I mentioned, it can be difficult, it can be painful, it can seem like an uphill battle. But with persistence, love, and effort, what was crumbled can be rebuilt. If you need an example of what persistence looks like, maybe this video right here can help you get started. Let me know in the comments how you're overcoming your Herculean tasks, and I'll see you soon.